Hi everyone, I'm Yijuan, your host and moderator for tonight's masterclass. So I'm very, very happy, very grateful for Chooi Seng to agree to speak on tonight's masterclass. He is very experienced. He's actually our resident master clinical supervisor at Virtual Academy. He's also a registered clinical supervisor with over 38 years of practice, and he specializes in relationship-focused therapy and family life. And of course, he also teaches at our academy on Prepare and Reach, which is a very powerful tool on helping couples to discover their relationship strengths. So without further ado, I hope all of you join me to give him a big round of applause. Chooi Seng, over to you.
Hello, I'm going to try my best to share some thoughts, some ideas that I hope will be useful for you. I'd like to propose that if we want to build resilient relationships, to make the relationships that we have strong, firm, and continuous on the long run, you need 3 pillars. Allow me to just share each of these pillars with you. The first pillar, it's about emotional responsiveness. Emotional responsiveness. Well, all of us who are human beings, if we're alive, all have emotions. And because you have emotions, you have emotional needs. And these needs need to be met. And if more of our needs are met, that means the relationship that we're having is going to be more anchored. And not only is it going to be more anchored, it helps us to be able to generate an encouraging manner in which to spur us going forward. So it's very important when we are in a relationship to just understand and recognize the emotional needs of your partner, the one that you have been living with, the one that you have been chasing, the one that you're hoping to build better understanding with. It's been often referred to, if you want your relationship to last for a long time, your love to last for a long time, recognizing emotional responsiveness and being involved is like providing the oxygen to make your relationship better. And the more that you have of it, the more you find that the bonding you have is secure, okay? And the two of you will get on better than many other before itself. Well, EFT has a very good principle to teach us. It tells us that what we need to do is to understand 3 things: accessibility, responsiveness, and engagement. What does accessibility truly is all about? It's really asking the core question to whoever you are in your relationship. Are you there for me? Wow. Sounds good, isn't it? Sounds great, isn't it? Accessibility is that, are you there for me? Are you available when I need you? Are you going to be there when I'm stressed? Are you going to be there when I need your attention so that we can actually move on? It's like saying to each other, you need to be, in some ways, on call, staff on call, doctors on call. And it's really about being reachable. If you want to have a good relationship with that person, you must be ready to respond to the availability and the call of the other person. The second question to ask in EFT is this: can I rely on you? Can I rely on you? When we are with our loved ones, we go through ups and downs in all kinds of various different situations, and sometimes we become vulnerable. We get fear, wondering, how are we going to navigate the future? 2026 is not as good as 2025. Our Prime Minister has given us a budget. He may not have covered enough to ensure security for my job. So I'm fearful. Okay, and if your loved ones is in a vulnerable category, they may be asking for help, looking for timely care and comfort. And very important for us in a relationship is we need to validate their feelings. Validating their feelings is simply allowing our partner to be able to emote. And I think that's vital. We do not need to kind of be afraid of the emotions in which they may be challenged. We need, in fact, allow them to acknowledge the emotions and the struggles that they can face. Noting that I can see how you feel. Sometimes guys, one of the things that we sometimes are afraid of is that, we try to deny our girlfriends about expressing, because we think we don't know how to manage it. Can I just inform you that, hey, denying is avoiding. We really need to give space for them to be able to express it. And perhaps also to just understand that that validation does not always indicate agreement. Doesn't always mean agreement. It's just allowing the person who's feeling it to be able to express themselves. The third category under the pillar 1 is, do I matter? Do I matter? So what is it saying is that, in our engagement together, are we fully present, absorbed when we are together? Am I valued enough that when I'm with you, you pay attention to the connection that we have together? You provide supportive touch to each other. You have gazes into each other's eyes, and you share also the joys that we need, that generate in being able to understand and help one another going particularly forward. It's in some ways an expression of togetherness that can give us that support for each other. So friends, before I move on to pillar 2, can I just remind you of these 3 questions? Are you there for me? Can I rely on you? Do I matter to you? If you can, ask this perhaps to your spouse if he's sitting with you, or somebody that is close to you. Ask that with your lover, and ask your lover to rate you. And how did you score as far as these 3 questions are concerned? If we want a relationship that lasts, we need to build a couple bubble. Right. Now, some of you may know this, some of you may not, but it doesn't matter. What I'm just saying is that couple bubble comes from Dr. Stan Tatkin's work on Wired for Love. Wired for Love. I like this book because it's quite interesting. It describes that in the couple bubble, every couple needs an intentional cocoon, okay, or protective membrane. What it's actually saying is this, that a cocoon is a protective silk shelter where you can enter in during the transformational process, and that as you begin to know your partner and your partner knows you, you can grow and be changed together. It's a journey of discovery, and it's also a journey where we learn to grow in relationship. Yeah, so he's written this book. It's a very well-known book, very, very helpful. And I'm saying that today that if for pillar 2, we need to also build our couple bubble, and I'll show you how we can do that, as well as at the same time, not only provide that bubble for ourselves, but also the boundaries in our relationship. And to also, as we talk about relationship, it's learning to prioritize the most important things in the relationship that we're having with each other. Okay? Now, there are core principles of what this couple bubble is. Like, if you are going to be in a relationship with somebody, that person is priority. Hello? Did you hear me? That person is priority. That person is important because you have a unique relationship with that person. This is the relationship that you want for life. And this must come well before work, friends, and even children, because you are important. And because you're important, it's a relationship that has to go through different things. When you're not stressed, when you are stressed, or when you are in distress, depending on whichever the situation you might find yourself to be in. The second core principle is that if you want to have a good relationship, it must always be mutual and collaborative. That both have to put in as much effort, devotion, and that we care for each other's well-being. We want to make sure that each other comes out better each time. Okay? The third thing in this couple bubble is that it provides a safe haven where we as partners learn to protect each other from external pressures as well as internal pressures. External pressures comes from work, sometimes in-laws that can intrude into the relationship, and it can be very annoying. I was just speaking to a young father with 2 kids, 3 and 6, and the wife is absent for a while, and the in-laws are coming in to dictate how the children should be developed. And it really was very unnecessary, and the young man was very upset with the pressures that came from outside. Or maybe, there are some times that as you are struggling with your own challenges in life, whether you have certain doubts about your work and your future, and the areas of your personal growth that you are working on, you need to be secured. And that security can be provided when you're in that couple bubble with your rightful partner. The fourth thing is that when you're building this couple bubble together, you also must have a pact. Now, it's very important that quite often that sometimes we think and then we assume that what we think is something that the other person would understand. But friends, sometimes whatever we want in a couple relationship is not just what we think, but we need to also express it. And when we express it, we are making certain what is important, and we are making known what is personal for ourselves and what we hope is exclusive for each other. And I wonder whether I can give you 4 suggestions and see how you do. How do you feel about this statement? I will never leave you, especially during a fight. There are people who sometimes get into a fight and then the first thing is they threaten each other, say, I'm going away. Sometimes this can come. But the different things would be, I will never leave you, especially during a fight. I still will come back. Or the second one is, I will never intentionally upset you, do things that hurt you, do things that cause you distress. Okay? So that can be an agreement that you can put together in the couple bubble itself. The third thing can be, you will be the first person to hear my news. Not hear it third hand, not hear it second hand, but I will be the first one to share you good news as well as bad news or difficult news to share. I think if we have a good relationship, that's the safety and the courage that we can share with each other and know that we are able to soldier it together. Okay. And the fourth one is, I will relieve you your distress even if I have caused it. Wow. Well, let me just ask, have you tried any of this yourself? And how do you fare as far as some of these principles are concerned? Okay. Well, couple bubble is interesting. In practice, it offers 3 broad areas. One is, it provides you with safety and protection. We support one another from criticism, from other things in public, and that's very good. You cover each other as you journey in your life that you have. And so that's important because if you want to be a strong couple in the life ahead, that's important that we all need to be having. One of the new things that is coming and will probably take a larger notice is digital boundaries. We're finding that technology, while it's good, it's helpful, it's useful, well, it also can be a very challenging time in developing good, resilient relationship. So we have to learn how to have phone-free times to ensure that we are much more open, much more available to each other, a true presence with each other, and not just rely on technology. Okay, that I think is important, and I believe it's also going to gain traction going forward in 2026. Well, the third particular area of importance for couple bubble is, in a couple bubble, it's also a safe place, a healthy place that whenever things break down, they're quickly being repaired before it heads on to greater and more challenging situation itself. Okay, so that's couple bubble in practice. Okay, and so for couple bubbles, we need to kind of realize that we need to build boundaries to help us have better behavioral expectations of each other. As you know, we want to protect our physical well-being, our emotional well-being, and also our mental well-being. We need to see that boundaries are actually very healthy for all of us. It's not about shutting people out, but it's actually a framework that helps you navigate, that you have mutual respect, that it offers the safety, and it takes you into a deeper way of understanding, provides you the space to learn and do things that you will enjoy as with each other, and not feel that you're going to be interrupted by things that may be of not as greater importance than the one that you have in building a relationship with your partner. Okay, well, can I just suggest that there are many areas which are important. There are very different domains of boundaries. Healthy couples need, I feel, to negotiate limits across some of these areas that I'm going to mention. Now, I think one important boundary is emotional. We need to define how much emotional energy we can invest in others, and from your partner's perspective and behavior, not be separated from you itself. I feel that this is important because couple of situations I have is that but when there are no boundaries, I had a lovely, pretty young lady. And because she didn't have boundaries, she was wooed by someone else, and that causes distress in her relationship with her own husband, and causing distress to the children itself. So finding boundaries for emotional energy is important. Important to know who you can give to, who you cannot give to, and thereby don't blur the lines in between. The second area of boundaries that are important is that every one of us need our own time and space. Yeah, we need time for ourselves to develop our hobbies, to do things that are important for us, but so that we can build our own personal growth areas. But at the same time, it's also important that this time and space does not rob us of the couple connection that we want to do things for both of us itself. So very important. A third area of boundaries, which somehow is not often talked about in our circles, is the physical and sexual. Yeah, I think that even with all that we thought we are a modernized society, yet at the same time, I hear that sometimes we don't talk about what do we like in the area of sex that is that we feel as couples that in a legitimate legal relationship that we can touch, enjoy, and have that space for each other with an explicit consent that both will have. No wonder, our DPM was saying that this is the area that we need to develop a lot more because we need more babies going forward. But it's true. It's true, and it's important too, because a good sexual physical relationship is also when it's in the healthy realm, it also builds us up for a stronger, resilient relationship in the future. The last two things are the areas of finance. The areas of finance. Well, I have a concern. There is two words that starts with the same letter, but it has completely opposite meaning. The first S is things that we can share, things that we have that would be separate. Recently, I've been working with another couple whereby, as they have come to the end of their relationship, they sadly they're heading for divorce. But then they suddenly realize that much of the financial agreements have been all messed up, and it causes greater tensions than necessary. So, but it's good and important to know what are the things that you have in your relationship, things that you are going to share, the things that you also want to keep as separate, that you want to have your own accountability itself, are also very, very important. Well, the area of intellect is also important. Today, with AI, ChatGPT, PI, and whatever that you may be comfortable with, more and more knowledge is made available. Well, the more and more knowledge can contribute to our intellectual understanding and behavior, but at the same time, we need to be respectful of differing views, different opinions. Can we learn in our relationship that are we able to handle broader areas of understanding and to allow them to have the common, to share that common space with us, because each of us is different. So intellectual boundaries are also important. Well, as you navigate having to build boundaries for yourself, it's important to share what you want by beginning with yourself. And it's often about, sometimes if you find that in your own relationship there are struggles and things that are not as good, it's good to be able to say it without putting the other person on the defensive side. And very often it might mean that we need to eliminate the use of you, but to use the use of I more openly. Focus on your own feelings. Share about, when certain things happen, this makes me feel in a particular way, rather than blaming the other partner, and thereby, you both come to a negative situation, and you run into difficulties, and you get into loggerheads, and the relationship gets soured. Can I make a suggestion of learning the 4 C's principles whenever you talk and build boundaries with your partner and your friends? Well, the first one is it's important to provide clarity. The first C is clarity. Be direct, make sure it's in the positive domain in which you say it, so that when it's heard, you know clearly this is what it means. Okay, such as I like to spend time with you. Instead of saying you don't always come home early. I like to spend time with you at the end of each day. That can be a very positive, clear way of communicating. And then the communication is learning about talking openly, without fear, and hearing each other fairly. The third C is consistency, upholding the limit of time whenever you want to talk about. Okay, I'm going to take 3 minutes to share my views. Can you take 3 minutes to share your views, so that we can have a mutual exchange, and then you keep to a certain way in which you develop your conversations, and be able to understand each other and move on, and build up a stronger relationship. And the last C is confidence. Okay, whenever you share and speak with clarity and openness about what you want, the more you will gain confidence for yourself. And the more that you gain confidence for yourself, you'll be able to be more expressive, you'll be more assertive, and it helps you in putting your views across, and it also makes it easier for your partner to be able to understand you and hear you. Okay, well, few other things I thought that's kind of important is that if you want to have good relationship, it's also important sometimes to say that, hey, if you somehow don't contribute well, then there can be consequences in our own relationship. So I suggest to some of the people who come to see me whenever they have difficulty, I said, hey, maybe a rule that you should set at home is, if whoever yells, raises the voice, the consequences is we're going to stop talking, take a 30-minute break, and until you come down, there isn't a need to be able to talk about it. Okay, yeah. Or sometimes it may be own up before you're being checked itself. I think that's also very important. You need to have consequences so that we begin to be able to be disciplined to make the relationship more resilient, more stronger, much more helpful to each other. The second important thing also is when you want to set and maintain them is, hey, friends, it's important to do a regular check-in to say, hey, how are you doing? How are you coping? And it's important. Like anything other things, softwares today have updates. Whatever, even the apps that we put in our phones, there you get updates as well. So an update in relationship is about checking in to ask, how are you? Are there things that you still want me to do? Are there things that I can improve on? And it can help in the relationship building in order that we can have a better enjoyment of each other's company. Okay? So far, are you still able to follow me? Well, I hope you are. Well, we are now into we should now be ready for the last pillar. And before we do that, Dr. Stan Tatkin gives us some ideas that he's generate in the couple bubble, things which he believes are good and healthy for the boundaries. Things like, I'll never leave you, I'll never frighten you purposely, when you're in distress, I will relieve you, you'll be the first to hear about anything, not the second, third, or fourth person I tell. Well, some of this are useful for us to remember. Like, for instance, a relationship is more important than my needs, or to be right, more important than your performance, or even your own appearance. And I think those are very helpful things that can help positively in the couple bubble boundaries you want to set. Okay. Well, the third pillar is that we need to build modern rituals of connection. Modern rituals of connection. Allow me to just share some things that I believe are very, very important. Rituals of connection are simply saying to each other, hey, I see you. And because I see you, I value you, and you matter. Okay? And so let's make this connection in a healthy, safe way. Let me give you more broad examples so that you know what I'm trying to say. Well, the first one is what I call micro connection rituals on a daily basis. Many people, as spouses, they have what I call the roommate syndrome. Your partner is just your roommate, but there's nothing else, that goes with it itself. Is it possible? Is it possible that when you start your day, when you're having your breakfast, can you think about something that you're excited about to share, to talk about? Or is it a concern that you may have for the day that is before you, and then to share it? Make the conversations of the breakfast an important, helpful one. Okay, and then when you return from work, the 2 minute greeting ritual is a very important one. It's about thinking that when you return home and reunite as you come back, we should be wanting to see each other again. So a warm and distracted greeting is more effective than a week of plenty of things, but no connection in between. No connection in between. So I often say that, when you reach the gate of your house, leave all your work behind. Leave all your work behind. When you enter the house, go in, think about, what can I say to reward my spouse? What can I say to be able to encourage my spouse when I come into our own home, when I return? Okay? Along the same line, as we end the night, is there a possibility for us to have what I call nightly gratitude? Can we end our day by naming one specific thing you appreciate that your partner did for you for today? Okay? It may be your partner call you up just to remind you, hey, don't forget you have to go and get something for your mom because Chinese New Year is coming up, or something of that nature. Okay? Something that you appreciate as it come to the end of the day, that your wife and your partner have done for you. And just to appreciate it would be a very supportive gesture and a helpful way for your relationship to be more solid and strong. The last one is very important, right? Because bedtime is bedtime. Yeah. Can we do what Gottman says? A 6-second kiss. Right. 6-second kiss is long enough to make you feel safe, and it will trigger a chemical shift that will boost your bonding. Guys, believe me, it works. Okay? Believe me, because I have 3 children. Yeah. Can I encourage you to also be thinking of that, because it's helpful, an important way that we need to be able to build and make our relationships last a lifetime. Well, I think it's also very important, and I say without any particular fear or anything, is that even in the digital era, we need new rituals. And part of the new rituals that I strongly believe in is that we need to find a way to unplug. Okay, we need to find a way to unplug, because it needs to be a new standard for happy, strong couple relationships. Okay, the first one I suggest is that a 30-30 rule. Very simple. 30-30 rule is simply says the first 30 minutes of the day, don't look at your phone. You wake up, go and enjoy your breakfast. Don't be thinking what are the messages you receive. Hey, work can wait. Okay, relationships are more important than trying to answer those messages. So first 30 minutes when you wake up, don't look at the phone. And when you want to, when it's time for you to say goodnight, also important that the last 30 minutes, please don't touch the phone. Okay, yeah, put it down, put it onto sleep mode, and then carry on yourself. Okay. Let me also suggest that that it's also important that there should be what I call phone-free zones. Okay, what do I mean by that? The place where you have your meals, your dining area, that should be phone-free. Not bringing the phone all the way to where you're seated and then having it open itself. You know, the latest advert. It makes the whole thing as a joke. You know, everybody holding on to that handphone as far as meals is concerned. Hey, phone-free zones can establish and deepen the quality of a relationship more than what your phone can contribute for you. Okay? Then do sometimes what I call a 2-minute reboot. Whenever that things gets a little bit overwhelmed, take a pause, take a break. Just do some quiet breathing exercises. Okay. Yeah. When we do some quiet breathing exercises, it helps us to calm down. It helps us to calm down. And sometimes, okay. Yeah. One of the things I would encourage is maybe go over, give a hug to your partner, or let your partner hug you to reset your connection. And you'll find that this will become extremely helpful and useful for you. Okay. Well, the third one, which we will then go for further thoughts, is there are weekly and long-term rituals which I think are important for healthy relationships. The first one is about 777. Well, this is just approximate. One is every 7 days, take one date night out. Okay. Hey, it's good. It's important. Yeah, you can take a date night out with each other once every 7 days. If you want to build on the relationship, if you want the relationship to improve, do one date every 7 days. If when you reach 7 weeks, then think about having a weekend away. If you can't think of a weekend away, take a 1 day away. Yeah, it will do you good. Helps you to explore those things that are stronger and healthier for both of you. And then you can cover the things that sometimes you're just doing for a very, very long time. And the last one is, you may find that challenging, but I believe it is going to be helpful for both of you. Every 7 months, think of a kids-free vacation. Okay, kids-free vacation. Yeah, I know of a couple who will run to Batam when Batam weekend, so that so that the kids they can be free from the kids, so they can have deeper bonding between themselves, and not just in Batam. When they come back, then the next 7 months they may go over to JB or to another venue for themselves without the kids. And I think that's important. So this is what I call the 7-7-7 rule: 7 days, 7 weeks, 7 months. Try it. I'm sure you will not regret it. I like the second one, which is chomancing. I have worked with some couples where they decided that as part of their relationship building, they want to do things that can help build their experiences in a new home that they are setting, that is going to be useful for both of them and also be enriching to other people. Okay, I give you an example. This particular couple decided to do baking. Yeah, they begin to scour for different recipes to make, and it helps them to develop, experiment, and to cook it themselves, and they find it particularly helpful. And sometimes it doesn't need to be something very difficult. Sometimes it be something very simple and and very healthy, like making rojak together. You can hardly go wrong with doing that in your own relationship. And what it does is that this chomancing builds teamwork, it builds communication, and you find that it's going to be very, very helpful. Okay. The third one is dream seeds. Yeah, all of us have dreams. Okay. What's important in a couple relationship is it's important to see how we can help each other further themselves, work towards and achieving the goal and the thoughts that they want for themselves. And I think it's good when we're able to encourage each other to make the dreams that they've been thinking come to fruition for themselves. And it can be a very enjoyable and encouraging thing. Okay, so for the third, rituals of connection, we're looking at different simple things you can do daily. We look at also at the same time learning to unplug from devices that we've been so bogged down and been hooked into, and that doesn't help us in having good relationships. And there are also now better, stronger rituals that you can try that gives you a much more lasting enjoyment in your own particular relationships. Now, it comes from Gary Chapman's book where it says, love is a verb. Love is a verb. Love as a verb is important because in all relationships, they're built on intentional daily actions rather than fleeting feelings. If we love each other, and that I see as the criteria and the motivation to be able to move forward, for all of us, it's good. It's good. Yeah, we may be attracted to each other by romance, by puppy love, or whatever it might be, which begins with an emotion. But then to move on beyond the emotion, it requires us to make choices. Choices of learning to listen to one another, to support each other, and learn to find find opportunity to provide selfless service in looking after each other. So as we close, maybe one of the few things we could be thinking about is show and tell. Show and tell. What do I mean by show and tell? Show and tell. Well, the exercise is very important. This exercise gives us opportunity sometimes to recognize the hidden work of love that often goes unnoticed in daily routines. Okay? Yeah. So I kind of last ask you, let me pause for a moment. Can you find an object that that represents an act of love between yourself and your partner? Okay, and you can tell people about it. All right. Well, one of the things I often say is, look at this watch. Look at this watch. This watch is an act of love. It was bought for me by my spouse. It's an act of love. So the show and tell is take up something, an object, share this, acknowledge this, be thankful of this, because this item is a physical reminder of my partner's effort of expression of love for me itself. I think that's a wonderful thing to remember. Okay, there are many other things, many other suggestions that I want to leave with you going for as we end tonight. Yeah, it could be a coffee mug. Yeah, a coffee mug can represent the love between a couple. I was just recently talking to a couple that say, hey, maybe one of the things you need to do is to provide your spouse with a warm drink of her choice that she likes, and to make it given to her and present to her. And when you know that she's thirsty and she finds it useful, okay, do that as a daily ritual. It will actually bring a lot of blessings for you, and you will also receive a lot of blessings just by doing that itself. The second one I often say is that, hey, one of the things you could do is to be able to charge your spouse's phone. Yeah, okay, when you notice that the battery is weak, do it as an act of service, and it helps make them be connected when it's time for the device to be connected. The third one is to have a shared calendar app that talks about the ways in which you begin to plan your time together. Try the 777 and work that out. You'll find that it will bear you a lot of fruit for yourself. And then as we close, we can, other things that you can do some things that, to help reduce the chore of your partner and the stress that they may be having. Give them a little massage, it might be helpful. Provide a snack that they may find useful as they come to the end of the night itself.
I'm now going to hand the time actually back to Len.
This one is the really exciting one. It's called Resilient Relationships 101. As you know, at Breakthrough Academy and Therapy, we've got a suite of 101 workshops. They are basically short, very tight. And this one is a 3-hour certification workshop by none other than Chooi Seng himself. He was just giving a teaser tonight. And at the 3-hour certification, firstly, you get his time with you at our office here in town near City Hall, Clarke Quay area. And it's a 3-hour, like I mentioned, in the morning, on a Saturday morning, workshop to learn tools and strategies to build thriving relationships. I think the usual rate for such a workshop is $120 per participant, but because we are launching this as a pilot and it will be launched somewhere in April, there is a special exclusive promo code just for you. So click on this link that is being sent in the chat box right now, as well as the QR code if you're watching a replay of this, and you'll be pleasantly surprised at that rate that we're giving you as a special promo rate.